Broadcast is live. Broadcast is live. All right. Welcome to Between Two Ferms. It's our first time back between the firms since...
I don't remember when it was.
June? I think it was June. So we haven't done... We did, obviously, the big live stream for Boxtravaganza. And that was in July 27th. We've taken a bit of a break because actually Boxtravaganza took probably the guts of 3 weeks to put together, right?
And about 2 years off my life.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful as an event to put together. We actually did. I know it had glitches, nothing like what it could have had, thanks to an excellent production crew. So it was something that took about 3 days to record, and then a lot of live streams and a lot of bits and pieces that we had to add in. But it was, pretty good event. We were happy with it. It's certainly something that took a lot of time, and then we had to get back to making beer and selling beer. And here we are, kind of back into the rhythm now. Just to wrap up on Boxtravaganza, we will be making an announcement, but it looks like we did just under $4,000 for the charity. So made about €4,000 for the Carrick and Shannon Alzheimer's Centre Patients Trust, which is pretty meaningful for us, and it's brilliant that you guys could participate and help contribute to that. So this evening, we are here back between the two firms. We don't have the full production crew. It's me and Joe and our trusty webcam, and Connor's in the back steering things from his computer screen, and the lads are still finishing off the canning over in the corners. So as predicted, it's still a production brewery, not a broadcast centre. What do we have? What are we running through this evening? The welcome. We've just done the welcome competition.
We got some... did we get confirmation? We got Jampa with us, I'm pretty sure.
Jampa just came up on screen there as being confirmed.
Yeah.
Jampa, as you will recall from Boxtravaganza, has a unique and diplomatic broadcast style.
Something we all aspire to. I mean.
Yeah, you get to that stage and...
Jampa says what everybody's thinking.
in Italian, in a kind of an Italian English. So we'll have Jampa. We're tasting 2 beers, probably 3 beers actually. We're tasting 2 that we've advertised. That is the Bock Beer, the Heidrun Bock, and the No.40, which a lot of you will have gotten in the barrel program, which went out at the end of August. So that's the intention, is bringing you up to speed on one beer which has taken probably 3 years to get here, and one beer which is a recent fresh release. I think I am going to bring people through a competition. So the competition we announced today, which is for a Boxtravaganza box. So the story behind that, actually, do you want to grab the beers, the Bock and the No.40, and yeah. I'll bring people through the competition. The Boxtravaganza obviously was oversubscribed, and we released birthday boxes and what have you afterwards to make sure people could enjoy the event. But we sent a box to every brewery. So every brewery who participated in Boxtravaganza got a box sent back to them. Because when you're at a festival, you get a chance to drink everyone else's drinks, go around and meet all the breweries, taste their beers. We wanted to kind of bring that sense of meeting all the other breweries to breweries, even if they weren't going to be here live at the festival. So we sent them all a box. However, what we hadn't kind of taken into account was that it's really, really hard to send beer to the US. And we had 3 US breweries, the Sierra Nevada Green Cheek, and the guys in Santa Monica Brew Works. And try it as we might, we just couldn't get the boxes sent to them. So we've kind of given up on that. We took care of 2 people who were really helpful during the festival and helped us in a way that meant that the festival actually happened, with a box each. And the last box, there's actually one last box that was bought by someone and is sitting in the cold room. They're still waiting on the collect it. The very last box is going to be given away tonight. And how we're going to give it away is as follows. You get to name a beer with us. fairly simple, fairly straightforward. You get to name one of our beers, except instead of being a beer that the brewery makes, it's going to be a collaboration with Festenuda, or with Lambrata, so with Giampa and the guys in Lambrata. So the idea is that we are going to discuss the beer with Giampa, hopefully, and come up with a name. Now, the last beer we made was Festenuda, which is, my opinion, one of the best beers we've made. Definitely one of the best collabs.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a good beer. It was fun, really fun to do. Fun to work with the guys down in Lambrata, the whole thing, and it came out fantastic. So.
Yeah, a really good beer. But also, you should never Google Festenuda without safe search on. Never do that. But that's the kind of name we're thinking about. So what we're looking for is the best suggestions for a beer name, for collaboration beer between ourselves and Lambrata. You can guess or you can throw up suggestions over the course of the show. And the best one that we get, we pick out at the end. You win the box, and you win also the prestige of naming a beer, right?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't want to be able to do that. It's the next best thing to having a beer of your own that you brewed on a shelf commercially somewhere, which is actually a really cool feeling. My kids always, anytime we're anywhere that they don't normally go, and they see the White Hag logo, they're like, "Daddy, look, your beer." I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool in there. So it's the next best thing. Can't brew it, that's all right. But if you name it and it's out there, then that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. So that's it. That's competition. Get entering, and we'll see some suggestions coming on screen. So look, straight away we're going to jump into our beer tasting. Joining us to taste the beer in our kind of newfound tradition of bringing people from the industry in. We've had some people from pubs and off licenses and other breweries. One person who's helped us out a bit in terms of our digital reach over the last 6 months, and just helping us be better at connecting to our fans and our audience, has been our next guest, who's joining us to taste the beer. He's also a beer blogger. You may have seen his blog. He is a friend of the brewery, Marty Meany, and his blog is called The Hoppy Ending, and he's going to taste the beer with us. Have we got Marty?
What's the crack? How are we?
Hey, Marty, how's it going?
Hey, Marty.
How are you all doing? You well?
Good now. Good. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Can everybody hear the bubbling? We're literally between two fermenters.
I was doing that thing where anybody who's working from home, they're used to it now. Where I've been cleaning up this much of the apartment behind me, just throwing stuff.
Well, it looks good. It came out good anyway.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, you even have stuff on the wall.
I missed that.
You even have something on the wall like there's a woman in your life.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a bit of background, Marty, to you and beer and the blog?
Yeah, so it's a fun beer to taste because like up until about 2 years ago, I was just drinking normal like lagers and Heinekens and that stuff. And then I started drinking kind of gateway beers, as I call them, like Sierra Nevada, stuff like that, and started realizing that, oh, there's actually some flavor out there that's not just, it doesn't just have to be freezing cold to drink it. So yeah, over the last 2 years, I've just been kind of trying different beers, and whenever I get obsessed with something, I tend to start a website, whether it be tech or beer or when I was younger, it was the undertaking business. That was the family business. So there was an undertaking website for a while as well. But it's beer and tech at the minute. So this is the beer element. So yeah, I started the Hoppy Ending with one of my friends, Jamie. So the two of us it's a great excuse to meet up and just drink beers. Today we have a website. So yeah, and that's where I started out. So I've been a bit quiet lately, but yeah, always happy to drink new beers.
Good. Well, look, I know you've tasted a bunch of our beers and see your review beers all the time, so it's really useful for us to kind of have someone on who is going to be objective and is going to give us some feedback, but also has been kind of seen him behind the scenes. You've been in the brewery, you've seen a bit of what we do here. So,
and now you're hearing what we do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, sorry about all the noise.
Which glass do I use?
I'd say, given the nature of the time of year, could you use the Stein? Would it be a bit ridiculous?
It'd be perfect. You just need probably
4
2.
cans.
No problem.
There you go. That's preparation.
Actually, this is a perfect beer to drink out of a stein. Poured hard too.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good big foamy head on it.
Big foamy head.
It's a pity. I've been to
Good
Oktoberfest.
for me.
And I feel like we've gone the extra mile here because my girlfriend Laura is actually German and she's just reheated her dinner, which is sauerkraut, German wurst, and some kind of a dumpling. So the house actually reeks of Oktoberfest right now.
Perfect.
There's always a dumpling in there. They love the dumplings, the Germans, don't they?
Sure,
doesn't love them?
authentish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably stop it there.
But it's all carbs. Look at that.
Prost. Prost. Oh, well, we'll let Joe take it from here because obviously you were wondering why have we brewed a Bock beer, Joe?
Well, as you were just saying, this is definitely the season. I think for me, especially as an old school brewer, I really, really enjoy some of these old classic styles, and they, without getting into too much detail, like this is really what these kind of beers are what kicked off the brewing renaissance in the United States, because we had 100 years of commercial bland lager, and it was exactly these imports and the old traditional brewing styles of Germany, Belgium, the UK that really kind of thankfully stayed alive, and that's what reminded people that there was more to life than just cold, fizzy, bland lager. So this is a lager, but it is brewed with almost 100% Munich malts. So those Munich malts are what give it that rich, deep melanoidin character, and everybody knows what melanoidin is. They just don't know it. So if you've ever made toast in your life, especially white bread that's full of sugar, when you're making toast and you start getting that brown, because everybody has their own level of dark in their toast. Yeah, like me, I like my toast just lightly toasted. My wife wants it just before it burnt. But so like those that browning action are melanoidins.
Yeah.
And so this happens in the malting process when they take the pale barley, which is a very, very light straw color, and then as they kiln it slowly at a certain temperature over a longer period of time, you get more and more of this toasting action, and then that's literally what is translated. So this is liquid, the brown bits off your toast in barley form.
There's a technical description for you right there.
Yeah.
But you really do get a sense of the kind of sugary, burnt sugar.
You should get that. Like I mean, if you take away the sweetness, you should be able to kind of detect that toasted note, and it comes through as an almost caramely character because it's in liquid form. But that's exactly what it is. And for the very nerdy people out there, they're called Maillard products. All the chefs and cooks would know about that. And then it's done with the traditional German lager yeast that comes from the Wien-Stefan region of Germany. But
for those of you at home, just get
a
sense of
a little lower there, a little lower.
Lower.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Redness.
Yeah,
Smelly.
you get all beers exist on the scale from essentially gold through red to brown to black. You're not really ever going to see blues unless it's artificial. You're not ever going to see
pinks.
Pinks unless it's through other means. But like on terms of malt, it's that toasting action from light gold all the way to black, and it just goes through red, to brown to black. And it's because it's the same concept as toast and bread. But yeah, these Bock beers have been around for a couple of centuries, and they still hold favor. If I'm not mistaken, they originated in the northern parts of Germany. And one of my favorite styles of beer is actually when you take this beer and double the malt bill, and you get what they call a Doppelbock, which literally just translates to double bock. And those are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
There's a Lenten tradition that there were Byzantine monks that would consume only Doppelbock for 40 days through the course of Lent as their source of sustenance. And I've always wanted to take that challenge. I think that you'd need a lot of water to keep the headaches at bay. But
yeah,
8% beer, no food, just beer and water.
I've done it. I've been there in Munich. Now, we didn't do Oktoberfest, and Oktoberfest is apparently a rite of passage that we have to do, and we should do it at some stage, not this year. But being in Munich at Munich Beer Festival, Craft Beer Festival, and gone and done the traditions, because it was just full of traditional German breweries and brewing really good versions of their regional styles of beers, like phenomenal versions. You know the way you get a really, really good Kolsch out of Cologne or a really good Marzen. And the Doppelbocks are just amazing. And like big 750s of Doppelbocks. Colossal, yeah.
You're nearly approaching wine when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
The Doppelbocks, yeah. I'm really happy with how this came out. I think true to style, I think we got it pretty close. Obviously, we're very fortunate here. We have access to really, really good high-quality German malts, so that helps a lot. We have access to high-quality German yeast. And the only difference, basically, is that it was brewed in Ireland with Irish water by, an American. So, but there's enough information out there now that doing these classic styles is not that difficult for any home brewers out there that are watching.
Yeah,
I encourage people to try the classic styles because it's kind of lost popularity. Everybody wants to do these big crazy IPAs, and they're fantastic and they're delicious, but there's more to life than IPA. And being able to nail these types of beers but it's beyond that. It's just there's a reason why they're still around.
Yeah,
because there is an elegance to them. There's definitely this is the opposite spectrum of an IPA, where the malt is the main player instead of the hops, and there's a whole array of malts out there that are available to us, and which means there's a whole array of flavors that we can play with, and it's a lot of that's getting lost a bit in the like super light, hazy IPA thing, but I think we'll see a kind of a resurgence as especially the younger craft beer drinkers start to discover and actually their palates get a bit tired of hops, or they need that break.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just go between, fizzy lager to heavy IPA.
Yeah.
And there's a whole array of beers in between.
Yeah.
And this is a really good example of that.
What do you think, Marty?
Yeah, like it's funny saying that because I guess I don't consider myself to be a young drinker anymore. But I consider myself to be young in my craft beer journey. And like you say, it's like I started out drinking lagers, went on to IPAs, and I went through like the hazy IPAs and loving the kind of the fruitiness and everything. And then I kind of figured that I needed something different, but I was really scared to kind of go back to the lagers because I don't know, I was just worried that like it's where I'd come from and I didn't like them anymore. Like because I'd loved IPAs so much as being the jump up from like, your macro brewery stuff and then getting up to the actual the IPAs, like the Sierra Nevadas I was loving, and obviously the likes of your guys stuff with the New England IPAs and all that kind of stuff that I was really, really getting into. And I was like, right, well, if I actually want to call myself some kind of a craft beer taster, I need to go back to lagers. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified to go back to lagers. So your one was the first one I go back to, and now this one is, it's like, maybe I don't have the technical understanding of it all, but like to me, I wouldn't taste that and go, that's a lager. I'd be more like, why isn't this an ale? I don't get it.
No, exactly.
Tasty.
Yeah.
That's one thing that a lot of people, when they hear the term lager, they're going to think, the big Dutch brewery and those types. But there's, I think, a big misunderstanding, and it's probably not really necessary to understand as just casual beer drinker, beer enthusiast. It's not really necessary to understand, but there's only really modern times there's basically three categories of beer. You have ale, which includes stouts and IPAs and things like that. And then you have lagers, which goes from Bock to even darker and up to the yellow fizzy stuff. And then you have like the third category, which I would call mixed fermentation, sour beers, or, you know, wild fermentation type stuff. But the only real difference between all three of them and the way we classify them in modern times is that an ale is brewed with an ale yeast that prefers warmer temperatures, say 16 to 18 degrees, 16 to 20 degrees, I should say. And then lagers, which is a different subspecies of yeast that we use in brewing that prefers cooler temperatures, say between 10 and 15 degrees. And that those cooler temperatures mean a slower metabolism for the yeast. They produce less fusel alcohols or phenols, which create those fruity flavors that ales produce. So really, like now in modern times, we just classify beer in two ways, ale and lager, and it all depends on the type of yeast and the temperature that they prefer.
It's funny you say that about, you've said something there which we haven't discussed before, but you said, you know, younger drinkers may come into the craft or independent kind of market, and they may well opt into beers like this, so more malty beer, less hoppy. So I was speaking to the guys in Cave Direct, who are our distributor in the UK, and they've got a unique position in that they have an online store and they have distributorship directly into trade all across the UK. And one of the things that happened across the last 6 months was they noticed their top-selling beers were all German lagers. Now, of course, German lagers are really good value, 500 ml bottles. Cases of beer are quite cheap, quite good value. But he brought me through, I think Neil brought me through 3 different months. And top 3 every month was always a German lager, like an Augustiner or a Polaner or a Hackerschor, those guys. And I was just blown away by this, because I expected it to be, they've got Garage and they've got, you know, Siren, they've got Lervig, they've got White Hag, for God's sake. And here it was, there's always German beers. And then I'm wondering why it's all German beers on the website. It's because it's like shop from the homepage, because that's where all the German beers, and it's good value. So it's amazing you say that. I think there's a place, like what you said, Marty, it's a place for people to fall back to a more regular beer that is not offensive, is not strong, or is not kind of, you don't have to have an occasion for it. You just know it's always there in the fridge, you know?
Yeah. As you guys say here, some of those German lagers are hard bet.
Hard bet. Hard bet. Your verdict on that beer, Marty, having the beer specifically. This is your first time tasting it as well. You've had 2 cans, and have 2 cans, but you haven't tasted it before this evening.
Yeah, no, I'm turbocharging 2 cans here and getting straight into it. I hopped down Craft Central there fairly lovely and emptied out their shelves. And it's gorgeous. Like I said, it's, you know, I still have the apprehension on lagers, but like when I drink this, it's like, to me, it's not a lager. It's got so much more flavor. And it's because, to me, lager is those macro breweries from the Netherlands. Like, you know, it's those kind of things. For me, there's just so much more flavor. And it's one of my favorite things to do is kind of, you know, like finding out what food goes well with this kind of stuff. And all I'm thinking about is all the stuff I eat in Germany. Like, you know, I wouldn't eat sauerkraut. That's not for me. But like all the other stuff, like the Leberkäse.
Oh, man, you're missing out.
Oh, God, it would be magical with this. And I have been to Oktoberfest. And yeah, you could just see all that stuff going with this. Like all the lovely, like Germans are very like Irish in 2 things, alcohol and meat. So yeah, it's myself the girl to get on so well, you know. We share common passions.
Yeah,
deadly.
I really hope more people kind of. Sorry, I killed it.
Every live stream.
You got more than I did, I think, on that one.
It's like doing a live stream with a bin.
I would really like to see kind of more people open up to trying these. This is, for me, it's really exciting. I've probably said in every conversation I've ever had with people about why we are here in Ballymote. We have phenomenal water for doing beers like this. It's very, very soft water. It's, has a very low bicarbonate, low calcium content, which means it's a very blank canvas. And when you look at the water, say in Pilsen, which is what made those original Pilsen beers so popular, is because it's very similar. It's very, very low in minerals, so it creates this really pure white canvas to build beers like this on. You don't have any minerality competing, and unfortunately, though, because IPAs and things like that on the craft beer side are so popular, we don't get an opportunity. I don't get an opportunity to produce a lot of these, because there's no point producing something that's not going to sell. But I really like it when we have the opportunity to do this, because I really think that it helps showcase that aspect of our brewery.
One reason we do these beers as well, and it proves it, is beer like this. You do a batch, and distributors everywhere pick up 20 cases, 30 cases, like they literally fly out. The guys in the Netherlands have taken maybe 50 cases, couple of kegs, and seasonal beers especially for festivals, celebration beers, fly out when you do a batch, 2 batches. So yeah, it's a no-brainer, and it's something we should all do. It's also a really good excuse to celebrate an occasion, and the Germans do that better than anyone, for sure.
I saw there was a question there by Ginger Gandalf. That's actually a really, really good question. Decoction mashing is a complex process that the Germans use. Not all Germans, but it was very popular in German brewing before they had thermometers. So basically, in the decoction mashing, without going into it, it means that you're taking your mash, which is mixing your malt and your water, and you're pulling a portion of that out, bringing it up to a boil and adding it back, which raises the temperature of the mash. And you bring out another portion of that, bring it to a boil, add it back. It's a very long, arduous, tedious process that can take a brew day for the likes of us up to 12, 14 hours. No, we did not do a decoction mash on this. We do a single step infusion mash on all our stuff because we have an English style system. It was only designed for single step mashes. But there is a way to reproduce the flavors of decoction mashing, which is very actually essential in a beer like this. And I didn't go into that earlier because that's, like it's next level stuff. So next level information. But what we do to replicate a decoction mash, because in a decoction mash, you're literally concentrated boiling your portions of your worts, which is the beer before it's fermented. It's the sugar water. You're boiling concentrations of that, adding it back and pulling out more and boiling it. So what we do to replicate a decoction mash is we actually do a really extended boil. And one of the things that I requested when most people, I'd say probably most people that are watching this probably know our story. When we were still building out the brewery, I was actually still in the United States when the equipment was being purchased. The one thing that I requested was that we got a gas-fired kettle instead of steam. And a lot of larger breweries, and we're at the maximum capacity. Our kettle is 4,500 liters boil capacity. And that's pretty much the maximum anybody will go without doing steam, just for efficiency reasons. But the difference between having a gas-fired kettle and a steam kettle is that the gas-fired kettle and the way they function creates a lot more hot spots, or like the entire bottom, or in our case, we have a coil. That coil gets way hotter than steam. Steam might only ever get to 250 degrees, but it's in a jacket, and the whole kettle is essentially creating the heat. Where when you have a gas-fired kettle, your heat is all concentrated into one small area, and that creates a lot of the caramelization. So what we can do with a gas-fired kettle to produce these beers and actually get them really close to style is do extended boils, and we do concentrated boils. So as soon as we have enough liquid in the kettle to start boiling, and I mean we're talking, there might only be less than a third of the liquid total capacity, we stop filling the kettle and we bring it to a boil. So it's like almost like syrup at that point, which means it's going to get actually hotter and caramelize harder. And then as soon as that starts boiling, we slowly start filling up the kettle and just kind of keep this boil going. So if I said, to Ginger Gandalf, he's asking about decoction mashing. So understands the brewing process. Most standard beers are boiled for 60 to 90 minutes. If we were to actually calculate the amount of time that this was boiled, it's probably closer to 4 hours. So that is what's creating the replication of decoction mash. Good question, Ginger.
Good question. Marty, I know you sit here and talk shite and drink out of your big glass all evening, but we have to move on because we didn't expect anyone to be watching this evening because it's a plus 15 degrees and not pissing rain outside. But look, thanks a million for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No bother. We would. I think Connor's going to stick up your handle, the Hoppy Ending. If you are on social media, get a follow in for Marty on the Hoppy Ending, and and hopefully we'll have you back soon in the future.
Cheers, Marty.
Cheers, Marty. And say hello to Laura.
Enjoy that.
Thanks for not collecting her and joining us this evening.
That glass
Gotcha. All right. That was Marty from the Hoppy Ending. If you want to join us and you think it's something to contribute, or you'd like to take part in one of the live streams, drop us a note on the social. We'd love to have people with unique perspectives, and also who are all unique in all kinds of I heard about the hag launch in Bock Beer. I nodded happily. Old school.
Yeah, old school. John McCarthy must be an old man.
Yeah,
like myself.
Okay, so fairly quickly, and we know our audio isn't great because the mic we got plugged in here didn't work, but hopefully you can still hear us enough anyways to get away with. It's a little bit muffled. Hopefully it's sort of picking it up a bit. It's on the side actually comes in from here, from there. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll speak up. Okay, we are. We're just going to bring you through some news before we cut to our next guest. We've got 4 new beers coming in the next kind of week or so. You can hear us there, Romy. Scott, if you can hear us or if you think the audio is too bad, give us a message there. It should be better. No, it's not a mic board. It's the audio. Turn the mic to grand. Volume's up. Yeah. That's not acting as a mic. That's just this. No. Sorry, Connor. We keep shouting. Hopefully that'll do. Hopefully will the shouting work? It might be a microphone. But I turned it off on the receiving end here. So look, we'll plow ahead. Hopefully you'll be able to hear us enough to get away with this. We've got 4 new beers coming out we want to announce. So I think I'll let Joe bring it through them if you want. That's 2 of these. And that one's
yeah, so first up we have doing a new series of beers, which is actually really exciting. Something we've wanted to do for a number of years now, but just one of those things where we say we're going to do it, and then time marches on, and you're like, oh man, we didn't do that. So we're finally doing it, and the idea behind this was really to showcase some of the hops that we're using and that we think are really special. And the reason why I think we were actually finally able to do this now is because we've just recently, this past year, received some new hops that are really exciting. They're really new to the scene, extremely new to this part of the world, and we're very fortunate to be working with the guys down in Lockwood Malts. I don't know if any of them are watching, but shout out to those guys. They're working really hard to.
They made a big effort to get really good hops.
Yeah. So what we're doing is what's called in the industry a smash, which literally stands for single malt and single hop. So our single malt is we use it every day. It's our Minch ale malt. It's an Irish ale malt, Irish barley, malted here in Ireland. We love it. It works fantastic. I think it's one of the best base malts that I've used in my entire career. And the hops that we're doing in these smash beers, we have two. I think one we just saw there on screen. The first one is an extremely new hop coming from indie hops called Strata. And Strata hops is a new, exciting hop. It's taking the Northern American craft beer scene by storm. This was the first time I've worked with it, actually. When I say that, I mean literally the very first time I've used it was using this beer, which is probably the precursor to doing this beer. Got a hold of some of these hops to try, and I said, let's just do the whole thing. Let's see.
You've had some. If anyone was had Boxtravaganza, the guys in Salt, Colin Strong, and the guys over there sent us their Strata hop IPA. It was really, really good.
Yeah, and I'm sure if we go back, somebody probably fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure I said to him, "This is really nice." But at the time I had some on the way, I was like absolutely looking forward to it. But it was the first time I had actually personally tasted the beer with Strata.
Same as that. Same as I think I had it once, but it's kind of done up. And you're seeing it on the.
Yeah, we'll hit Europe now, and you're going to see it everywhere. But for us, and I'm sure there's already been a lot of crew that's done one with it. But for us, it was just a really good opportunity to do that, and it's fun for us to do as well.
Oh, the next is Galaxy, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the second one that we're releasing to come out at the same time or just after is Galaxy, which is an Australian hop variety that is considered the hen's teeth and unicorn. I don't know, unicorn tears, whatever. Like, it's extremely hard to get, especially in this side of the world. Everybody wants it. I've never worked with it before. Had plenty of beers with them, and they're fantastic. So the idea behind the smash beer is to actually say, okay, here's just a pale ale malt that's not going to get in the way, but it's going to be nice flavor to support the flavors of these hops. We've used the hops for the entire process, so all parts of the boil and excessive dry hopping. So you're going to really get to experience exactly what this hop is. We're looking forward to doing a couple more after this for some of the other hops, unique hops that we use. We've actually, a lot of people, I think, at this point now know this because I'm getting messages all the time. People, homebrewers especially, I'm getting messages from, they're trying to replicate Little Fawn. I just got a message over the weekend. Somebody had done a couple of trials and was asking me to tip. It's really, like, I have no problem. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I'm happy to help you work through. I'll probably even give you my recipe if you're a decent enough person. But Little Fawn is actually pretty close to a smash beer. Little Fawn is mosaic all the way. There's the only reason why it's not a smash beer is because we do use a little bit of other malts there, but as far as the hops go, it's mosaic all the way. So the difference though with these is these are going to be in the 5.5% range, which gives it a little more body, a little more flavor. Before when you're in the 4% range, it's hard to get the kind of flavor intensity because the water starts playing a big role.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sound, the new version of Sound. The Sound, as you know, was our American style German ale for the Oktoberfest probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But at last, an American beer with an Irish title celebrating Halloween.
Yeah, so finally getting to do a pumpkin ale. Pumpkin ale is probably a good time for a pumpkin ale.
Yeah.
I know Trouble did one.
Trouble do one regularly, yeah.
They do one
Gets slated for doing it because of the game out of spite.
Yeah.
Hope you're watching Steve.
Obviously with beers, like we do the Christmas ale, and which is a bit cinnamon heavy. Obviously cinnamon is a bit of a what do they call that, Marmite?
Yeah, Marmite, yeah. You love it or hate it.
You love it or hate it.
Yeah, flip it like Paul.
Americans love cinnamon, kind of like Irish people love curry on it.
Yeah. Curry and cold salt.
I can't really get on board with the curry train, but I love cinnamon. So
Supermax have just made an audacious claim that they invented curry chips. Right? If anyone out there has any proof or has any insight into who actually created curry chips, we'd like to hear from you. Stick in the comments. But the claim by Supermax is a huge one.
Well, curry kind of comes from India.
Yeah. Like, I think that they created curry chips in the 80s, maybe 90s in Ireland, but no one in India had potatoes and curry for kind of 5,000 years before that. Is a ridiculous thing.
They were under English rule.
Yeah. And they
named them.
They invented the idea.
So yeah.
Despite the sound issues, I was enjoying this. But pumpkin ale, oh, for God's sake! The other beer, the next beer, is
listen, John. This is the beauty of this thing, is that we can do what we want, but you don't have to buy it. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like we're a Dutch brewery and we produce 2 beers and we hope that everybody buys it, and we try to find ways to get the government to force you to buy it. Like the idea, the idea is. Starbucks have kind of made the pumpkin spice thing famous. I think I read somewhere that pumpkin spice latte was something like a $500 million industry.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it makes sense in the United States, but I hear it's taking on the road.
Subba Curry is just on the road from you.
Yeah.
Subba Curry. Oh yeah, there's a gag. I think pumpkin ale is going to be a love it or hate it thing. Someone asked me earlier on, "Oh, you're going to make Talty again, which is our barley saison," and I said, "Absolutely." They said, "Oh, sorry." They said, "Are you going to make Talty again? It's one of the best beers ever made anywhere." And I said, "God, no, we're never going to make that again at risk of being commercially successful. Are you joking me? We'll make a load of new beers and hope that not too many people buy them." But yeah, we'll keep changing.
Wish we could produce Talty all the time. Unfortunately, it takes nearly 2 years in a barrel to get that beer. But in fairness to John, there's no pumpkin, actually. So some breweries use pumpkin.
Yeah.
I didn't use any pumpkin. I wasn't sure we could even get the kind of pumpkins I would want to use in this. So it's mostly just pumpkin spices. We're trying to keep it on the mellow side of things for the market, because the market isn't really cinnamon dominated. So hopefully we'll pull it off. We'll see. It's still in the fermenter. We'll see what happens when it's finished. But don't be turned off by the term pumpkin, because pumpkin itself is not very flavorful. But pumpkin ale is essentially the idea of making a liquid pumpkin pie, which is, when done right, is an incredible pie.
Okay, so there are the beers that are coming up. There's 4 of them going to come out in the next. Oh yes, sorry, the last one.
Almost forgot.
Yeah, almost forgot. Sorry, almost forgot. So a beer, probably the biggest selling IPA or fastest selling IPA we've ever done is Malafamina.
I can't read it, but there you go.
There you go. Malafamina is making a comeback next week by like massive demand. Almost all of this beer went to Italy to our collaborator, co-conspirator, John Oliver Nolan. Johnny, hope you're watching. Probably not, because it's manic at the moment in Rome, outside in the street, outside your off licenses. So Johnny takes a batch of this beer into Rome directly. We've made enough of this beer to hold some in Ireland and hopefully get some into France, Netherlands, and UK and Denmark. That's who are ordered at the moment. There's not going to be a lot of it going around. So again, this beer will be out. Should be in shops at the end of next week. You want to bring us through the beer, Joe?
I mean, yeah, that's what Mike was making all that ruckus for. It's in the bright side, but not carbon. You know, you talk about beer, I get some of the fresh stuff. Yeah, get some of the fresh stuff, because this is 6 months old now. This actually tastes like it came from North America. So Malafamina, which is, it seems to me that all my favorite names are coming out of the Italian guys with Malafamina. everybody here look that up. I'm not allowed to say what it means. And Festinuda, some really artistic, really creative guys coming up with names on there. But this beer was really fun for me because it's, as most people that know me will know that I'm more of a West Coast guy than a New England IPA guy. But Malafamina kind of falls somewhere in between. Lower it, there it is. That's not hard. Yeah, that's as fresh as you'll get it. That's it. That's for hard. Oh, you've seen for that. No, they're not. They're not on my head. There you go. There it is. Yeah. Malafamina kind of falls somewhere in between. The heavy, piney, sticky West Coast double IPAs and the chewy, almost sweet, super fruity New England type style double IPAs. Malafamina was incredible. We worked with Johnny on this on coming up with the concept for it. A lot of it was based around the palate of his customers in that area there in Rome. And it's everything he was reading off, I was just like, yes, 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 we can definitely, yes, we can do this. 100%, I was on board. Everything you described for me.
What's happening there? Sorry.
Yeah, I was really excited to do this. For those of you, if you like double IPAs, I'll back up. If you like double IPAs, if you like big fruity IPAs, double IPAs, you're gonna like this. If you like punchy, somewhat pungent double IPAs, you're gonna like this. If you like balance and not so much sweetness in your IPAs, you're really gonna like this. I think the bitterness comes in. It's right in the middle there. It's not bitter. It's not sweet. It's fruity, but it's also has a bit of dankness, a bit of pungency. That kind of punchiness. To me, he brought himself a fresh one. Me like, oh yeah, it's like pungent tangerines, and
yeah,
this is a really good batch, and really looking forward to having this in the can next week because I'm putting some in my fridge.
Anyways, we're going off tangent here, but it's important, I suppose, to let you guys know what's happening, because what happens is, Gordon is here saying I couldn't get any even from Italy. Malafamina was amazing. Yeah, so we just wanted to let you know you can get it off the site, or you can get it in like any good beer store. All the good beer stores automatically take a couple of cases each, and then it's gone. So yeah, this is just amazing though.
Ginger, this is not a beer for hoarding.
It's a beer for sharing.
I would say though, like these kind of beers don't age very well. I'm drinking the same age, whatever you have. So,
well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, right? Malafamina, we'll probably have another event to tell you about in a couple of weeks' time. We'll discuss Malafamina in depth, hopefully with someone from Italy at that stage. Speaking of people from Italy, without further ado, we're going to try and bring in our good friend Giampa from Lambrate. He's live.
Dude, of course he's.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Giampa.
Hey, Bob. Ciao, Joe. How you doing, guys?
Ciao, Giampa.
Are you
What's the
okay?
crack?
Come stai?
Bene. I'll be back from Palermo 2 hours ago, and in a fantastic city with fantastic people, because the Sicilian people are very cool, and I want to go to live in Palermo, please.
So you were in Palermo for the last couple of days.
Yeah, for one tap takeover in the Ballarat brewery from Palermo, one of the best brewery in Sicily.
Okay. So you spent, how long did you go down for?
For 3 days.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
you drive down and get the boat over, yeah?
Good food, nice girl. Oh, my God.
Good food, nice girls.
Yeah. and it's pretty hot down there at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But you didn't go swimming though.
You still wore your leather jacket, I'm sure.
Yeah, you had the leather jacket on, even if you were swimming.
and Sunday morning, I leave to Amsterdam. I go to pick up Luigi.
You're joking? In Amsterdam?
Oh yeah, for sure. He come back. He come back from Thailand after 7 months.
You're joking? What's Luigi doing in Thailand for 7 months?
Oh yeah, he lived in Thailand before the lockdown, and after stay for 6-7 months in Thailand. you know Luigi is a fucking crazy man. Fucking crazy man.
Joking. He just I know what happened. He heard the lockdown was coming and he went to Thailand. That's what happened. Yeah, absolutely.
Forward thinking.
Yes. So he's back from Thailand.
Oh yeah. Back from Thailand.
After coming from Thailand, the first place he will go is to Amsterdam, yeah?
Oh yeah. He have the next week he have the matrimonio, you know, the sorry, in English is Joe, matrimonio
is a festival.
Yeah, matrimonial.
No,
marriage.
is
wedding.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Not
I could
Luigi,
translate. It's a wedding.
So you're going to Amsterdam for a weekend.
Oh yeah, the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
And you do any beer up there?
No.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Now the we work a little bit with France, Norway, Spain, Germany, not more.
Okay. Because the guys in we just started with a distributor in the Netherlands, a new guy, and Pietro is selling some beer up there also
Nice.
in Van Buren and Hopping Borders, yeah, both of them, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So how has it been in Milan? How are the bars? How's what's happening?
The 2 bars are working very, very, very good. We have a little bit difficult with our production because there is not much in June and July and the first 15 days in August. We work a lot. But now it's very quiet because all the people back in Milano start to work. There is a lot of traffic, shit traffic, fuck off. And the usual, no, the normality. But the people not order much in the rest of Italy. But we are very happy because we are working very well with the 2 pubs. Not so bad.
Yeah. No, because it's been shit there, but also on our government have stopped the not permission, but the advice to go to Italy from yesterday. So Italy is now not on our green list. Even though
it's very quiet situation here. It's very quiet situation.
Yeah. Fuck. That's not good.
We are waiting you. We are waiting you, Joe, and the other guys for making collaboration and stay 2 or 3 days to eat lamb, drink beers. I think
so. This is what we need to talk about. We need to talk about which beer we're going to make. So
I think it's your choice.
No, I think it's your choice because I think we made a good choice together last time, yeah, with Festa Nuda. For
sure, we can brew a very amazing beer like the Festa Nuda. I think one of the best collaboration we have brewed in a long time.
Yeah.
Came out good.
Yeah.
Festa Nuda, nice, very nice. Many people in the pub asked to me when you produce another batch of Festa Nuda. When? I think it's a really good beer.
So I think it's safe to say, it's probably safe to tell people that there's another Festa Nuda coming. We've done the second batch of Festa Nuda. It's coming in hopefully November.
Oh,
maybe,
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
maybe. We'll talk about the timeline, but but it's almost, it's in the barrels, it's ready to go. But maybe, so one of the things, I don't know if you've seen this. I know we couldn't get you earlier, but we have the Malafemina, which we've made.
Malafemina.
Malafemina. Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want to tell us, what does that mean to you?
Sorry, Bob.
What does Malafemina mean to you in Italian?
Malafemina is a bad girl.
Yeah.
Bad girl.
Bad girl.
It's a bad girl.
It's similar to bad girl. Like
it's a bad girl.
I can't imagine you know any bad girls.
I have a very bad connection. No, I don't understand.
Do you know any bad girls? I can't ask you that.
I know only bad girls.
That's not what I'm asking. Okay, moving along, right? I know where this is going to go. So we have made this double IPA with Johnny down in Rome. Maybe a double IPA with you guys, but a Northern Italian double IPA, perhaps.
Oh yeah, but sorry, but my connection is very bad. I don't understand. Can you repeat, please?
Maybe it's good to make a Northern Italian double IPA.
Yeah, the people in Italy love the double IPA. We sell a lot of double IPA everywhere. In the north, in the south. It's I think one of the preferred beers of craft movement peoples.
Okay.
Yeah, they're popular everywhere.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. The people
Yeah.
in Italy love IPA, double IPA, session IPA. We sell a lot of this.
Molto popolari.
Okay, well maybe. So Giampa, one of the things we have done, we have asked the people watching to come up with a name for our collaboration.
The new collaboration?
Yeah. So the name, instead of coming up with the name at 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. in a kebab shop in Norway, we will hopefully come up with the name with a group of people who are watching this live stream today. So they're going to suggest some names. They're going to suggest some names, and we will send them to you, and you pick your favorite.
What
We
I
will-
can suggest?
We will give you some suggestions from the viewers tonight. We'll give you some of the suggestions, and the best suggestion that the viewers give us, you pick one, and then we will go and do the collaboration.
Okay,
How does that
perfect.
sound? Okay?
Perfect.
And then you get some free beer.
And they get some free beer. The best suggestion gets some free
Yeah,
beer.
for
So
sure.
don't worry. We're going to supply the beer. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You just get to pick your favorite name of theirs.
You pick the best name.
Okay.
Okay.
Festa Nuda was your idea.
Yeah, I love Festa Nuda. I love the complete name. When you party naked, the shit happens. But Festa
Yes.
Nuda, it's
But we couldn't call it that. We could not call it that.
Oh, there was a full name.
Well, there's a full name.
Never-
There's a full name, but you couldn't print it. You could not print it.
When you party naked, shit happens. wasn't
Yeah.
when
that
you
was
party naked, shit happens. It's perfect.
it. Yeah.
When you are fucking drunk, you can do all.
What in Italiano?
Quando fai festa nudo, finisce in merda.
What did you used to say? Why, Bob?
Why, Bob?
Bob?
Oh, this is a nice name for the next collaboration. Why, Bob?
Why, Bob? Why, Bob? Do they drive on the other side of the road?
Oh Jesus!
Oh Jesus! Are you working tonight, Giampa, or are you just back and you're going to try to go to bed?
No. This night I think I drink a lot of beers. I want to go home very drunk, and tomorrow I work.
Okay.
And tomorrow I work.
That's a good plan.
I think yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we're not gonna keep you too long. We're gonna plan the collaboration on Monday. We will have the name tonight, hopefully, and we will hopefully have a new beer in 4 to 5 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, Jampa,
Oi.
am I your fratello? He's gone.
Jampa's gone.
We
Jampa
lost him.
gone? We lost Jampa.
I asked him if I was his brother.
Jampa is a gas man. We are also running really tight on time here. So we probably should move swiftly along because we asked a bunch of people to join us from our barrel program who have kindly sponsored our barrel program for the last 3.5, 4 years. And they've just recently gotten their Just Rewards, which is, this is one of them. They got a case of beer, 7 beers in total. Number 40 is one of the beers.
Oh, they did get a bonus 7.
They got a bonus beer for waiting so long.
Yeah.
So one of the beers is the number 40 barley wine.
Barrel-aged rye wine.
Barrel-aged rye wine, sorry.
Mm.
Barrel-aged rye wine, excuse me.
Very similar to a barley wine.
Yeah, kind of in that spirit.
Yep.
I'll let Joe bring it through the beer and also why we're drinking it out of the can.
I see that other can there, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
So in the beginning, there was nothing.
According to
Genesis.
Stephen Hawking has a different take on that, but
yeah, but he's dead, so
he is dead. Now he lived a long time, so he knows a lot of shit.
he lived a lot longer than they thought he would anyway.
Yeah. He lived longer than I thought he would.
In the beginning, we got together with our good friends over at Brew by Numbers in London. Not that we like anything about London.
No, nothing. But we do like the guys from Brew by Numbers, and I have to apologize because we sent them some beers for the tasting. We sent them some beers last year when we released this in a small batch, and they sold them all, as is their want, because they're a commercial entity. We sent them some more beers, and they didn't reach them for the tasting today. So we said, look, there's no point having you involved. But so lads in Brew by Numbers, if you're watching, thanks for collaborating on the beer. Back to Joe.
My hair is 100% down.
This is 6 months. 6 months hair. Sorry, I know your hair is down.
100%. That's Ali though. Ali, remember Ali was the first guy to ever put our beer in cans.
Oh, from
That's you, isn't it, Oliver?
is he from
Remember it was WeCan.
We Can over in the UK? Yeah.
Not that we endorsed that. So anyway,
We've got like 5 minutes to do this. So
5 minutes. So in the beginning, here I'll move this. We did an old English style of brewing, which was they called Partygale, and that means that you brew a big beer, and you take most of the sugar from that big beer, and then you take the remaining sugar and you make a small beer. Since Brew by Numbers is a English brewery, I thought it'd be really fun to do this, and we sat down and we thought about it. And so the main beer, the main concept was the barrel-aged rye wine, and rye wine is no different than a barley wine. It gets its name from the sheer alcohol percentage. It goes back to an old taxation system, but this is coming in at 13%. It was then aged in X bourbon barrels that we aged Black Boar in for 2 years. So we took the third fill of the barrel and put the rye wine into that, and it was in there for over a year. The reason behind the barrel aging is because 13% beers are really, really boozy. They're really hot. So the barrels are a perfect way to age beers and mellow out those alcohol notes. You get this micro oxidation character that just smooths everything out. And then, but if you put them in fresh bourbon barrels, you get way too much of the bourbon character over the course of the time that you need to smooth this beer out. So we had the barrels, we did the beer, and the first runnings we were able to release right away, which was the Table Saison, and that was released 2 years ago, best before February 21. So this can's coming up on age now. And
it still tastes amazing because my wife loves that beer. And there's a case. It's a fantastic Saison. There's a case back in the warehouse somewhere and it's like long gone past selling, and we still pull out an odd can and drink it. It's just really great.
So it's a rye wine. It's like, I think it was 40. We went with 40% rye, which gives it this old school rustic kind of spicy character. Rye is very unique in that sense. You can't use 100% rye because it just turns the glue in the mash. And then again, like I said, it was then put into barrels for over 2 years.
Yeah.
All of the color, that really dark caramel color,
I'm gonna do this.
came from those barrels. They're down.
Down.
Got it.
Got it.
Right there. Yeah. Hold. Yeah. There you go. All of that color is coming from that kind of char in the oak and that micro oxidation. That
All of the color comes from the char.
Yeah. It was very like deep golden, almost amber, coming out of the fermenter. Like,
Mike is sneaking up behind you there, like sneaking up.
He's always trying to sneak up behind me.
Sneaking a transfer into the fermenter that we're leaning against for the fucking show.
But yeah, so
It's Friday night, folks.
we also added a bit of dark brown British sugar in the old British brewing tradition. So you have a little bit of there was a little bit of color that came from that. It was pale malt, rye, and then brown sugar, dark brown sugar, which is like really molassesy. So you should be getting some of that molasses character, and then that like oak and bourbon character.
There's so much oak in that.
Yeah.
So much oak. It's been a full year since I've tasted this. It's just oak centric. I didn't realize that was what's giving it all the color.
The best temperature is probably, I would say, 14 degrees, 12 degrees.
We've literally opened it, and about 400 fruit flies have just landed.
They've come out of nowhere.
They can smell like a rye wine. Fruit fly can smell a rye wine from 850 yards.
They haven't borrowed any of these, and all of a sudden now they're everywhere.
Nah, it's just rye wine.
It's something about this. They can smell that. Just so much sugar.
I gotta say a big hi to Ian from Fine Ales, who's managed to tune in and just abuse us about our hair. But he's doing it via WhatsApp, so you're not seeing it on the messages. Thanks, Ian. That's very subtle. Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is, for any of you who are tasting this, if you're not tasting it, I don't think we've any for sale. There's none left, literally none left.
I guarantee there's some sitting out there somewhere on the shelf because somebody sees rye wine. They're like, what is that?
And it's expensive as fuck. It's like, that's going to be 8-9 quid a can somewhere.
But that was 2 years in bourbon barrels, and that was after an entire month in steel. And then, like, we probably,
port.
Yeah.
Port is the thing that keeps coming back.
Very
just
port. Yeah,
porty,
very
really porty. It's really porty. Yeah.
So you actually know why these guys have come out of the woodwork, because this guy's here.
Because, they're just, the fruit flies are just following me around. Look.
There was not a single fruit fly, and then you showed up and like they're swarming the place.
There you go.
There you go.
There's the can getting slammed, 13%. So that's the number 40. That is the story behind it. I did not realize that was what brought so much color to that.
The barrels,
that beer.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a very dark amber gold. It was more golden, dark amber, and then it picked up over time in the barrels.
Yeah, he's gone with it.
Gone with it.
One of the things we got to do, if you've got questions, ping them on. We're getting swarmed with fruit flies now, and we do have to go because we actually have to get the train. And so, thank God, says you, that your evening is going to be drawn to a close, and we'll be finished before the late show. But if you have questions on this, Ginger Gandalf still has one left.
That dude is he's really good at holding on to beer.
I hope you can hide your identity and your location, because you have probably a decent stock of beer that's worth breaking into your house for. That's assuming you're living in a house, Gandalf, and not Jesus, you're biting me now.
That's crazy.
We're going to have to move on from the barley wine or the rye wine, unless you have questions coming through, because we have a couple of quick announcements to make. 3 things we've been working on and you've been asking questions about. The first one is another festival, another box festival. And it's the kind of thing that I say to Joe, we're going to do a box festival. And he walks out of the room and just has flashbacks to Boxtravaganza. But That said, it was brilliant because we love Boxtravaganza in connecting with people and in having people enjoy the beers and just being able to celebrate a festival of some kind this year, because it's been a fucking lonely year here in Ballymote. We are going to do something, and it's going to be around oysters and stout. Hopefully you're going to see an oyster stout festival, as long as the last few breweries connect with us and get us commitments on beers, hopefully next week. So if you like oysters, you like stout, watch this space, watch the middle of October. We have I'm not sure what that is. We have a subscription box coming soon. We have everyone's been asking about it, and we did a survey, and a lot of people filled in the survey, and there was an overwhelming indication as to what you wanted. So we're going to start a little beer club and try and get some beers out to people that don't really make many appearances on our shelves in Ireland, and it's just going to be something small. We're going to start with a limited number and grow from there. A muscle stout. I've never heard of that, but that would be.
We could actually pull that off.
We could do a muscle stout. We could.
You could get muscles all over Strandale.
Yeah. Mm.
I know people go down and get bucket loads. The tide goes out, they go down, pull all these muscles out.
The boys Carters do a lot of muscles as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be a nice idea. Have you ever had one, Carl Richards?
They're all like basically swallowing a booger.
Okay. Yeah. It's in the food chain. You could be in the food chain.
Yeah.
If you think, put that comment in there on the screen, actually, so everyone can read it. The last thing is the Spirit of the White Hag Whiskey Project. So we announced that at the end of Boxtravaganza. It's taking a little while longer than we would like to get the Spirit of the White Hag to fruition, but it looks like in the next week or two, we're going to have firm dates and a firm offer. It's going to be small. It's going to be we're not looking to broadcast it. We're not looking to go beyond our kind of outreach of fans and people who participate and patronize some of our patrons, some of our events already. We'd love to have those people involved and a couple more people, but Spirit of the White Hag will be launched in the next couple of weeks, and it is it's going to be a pretty sweet product, is all I'll say for now. Don't think I can say much else, can we?
I mean, this is something that's been, 4 years in discussion in the making. So from the moment we put Black Boar into barrels was like, this is what we need to do next.
Yeah.
I would say that I did small trial batches, but it would have been illegal. So I definitely didn't do small trial batches.
Yes, you did.
But I mean, like, it's a natural progression. Really looking forward to it. It's been a fun little extension of what we do here, as far as going from the barrel program and then marrying it with some really high quality Irish spirits. So really looking forward to that. Really, really excited about where it can go.
Yeah.
Like the potential for this and what with the barrels we have and the beers we go in and out. Like, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's a renewed excitement for me as somebody that's, been doing this for a long time. You're always looking for something to keep you, keep it interesting and that. So,
and for me, it's a completely different departure in terms of what you can do. It's a long-term thing, and it's taken a while. But what we can do with this is, it's a lot different to beer, but it's inherently tied to beer. It's also very transparent. We're not trying to tell people that we've a distillery out the back. And there's a lot of brands out there, we feel, who are putting a brand on something that they had nothing to do with the making of. We're being very transparent with how we're collaborating with this. We're going to leave it there because you're going to get all the information into your inboxes. It's a Google Spirit of the White Hag if you haven't already, and click on the link somewhere on our social feed and Spirit of the White Hag on our website as well, and get your name into the pre-registration if you are interested. It'll be hitting you in the next week and a half, hopefully. That's pretty much it. The competition, if you are watching still, if you want to name the new collaboration beer between ourselves and the guys in Lambrade, Jampa was kind of evasive as to the style of beer, but it sounds like a double IPA might be something we would do with those guys. Let's get the suggestions in. We will trawl through them later on, send them to Jampa. hopefully he won't get hammered tonight and give us the results till the morning. Hopefully we'll have a look at it tomorrow. Yeah. And
Final question there, Ginger, because you've been asking so many great questions. Definitely in the pipeline. Something we're working on. Legally, opening our own distillery is very difficult, but we are I don't know.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, we're thinking about it. Same time, looking at a very, very interesting concept of taking a very special beer of ours, having it distilled to go back into our own barrels. Something that we can do without actually opening up a distillery and dealing with revenue and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's something to really, really something I'm looking forward to, something to look out for.
Thanks a million for joining us, as ever. We really hope you enjoyed the Bock. There's not a lot of it left in Ireland, so if you do get it or you liked it, go and get some more. Put it in Gordon's or in Gandalf's cellar. And keep in touch and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Adios.
Ciao.
Son Awalia.